On today's all-new Live with Ann and Lynn, they welcome special guest Dex J. You all know him from Marfugal TV, but we're going to learn more about the man himself, Dex J. And here are Ann and Lynn.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Hello, I'm Ann.
And I'm Lynn.
And we're the Ann Lynn channel. And we're so happy that you joined us today. We've got a very special guest coming up in just a couple minutes, don't we, Lynn?
Oh, we sure do, Ann. I'm excited about today. Yes.
Yes.
We've got
and
people,
we
have people in the chat ready to ask some questions today about.
Yeah, get your questions ready for Dex. Yes, get your questions ready for Dex J. But before we start, we want to say good morning to all of our new subscribers. Hello. Let's give them.
And thank you.
Thank
you.
Yes. And we always start our shows with a cup of coffee or whatever you're drinking, right? Ready?
That's right.
We're going to do our coffee clink here. Woo! Coffee clink, coffee clink. We're so happy that you joined us. Have you got your cup of coffee? We're going to get started here right now.
Or have you got a spot of tea or some water or soda pop, whatever it is, just grab that drink.
Okay. So here we go. We all know him from Marfugal TV. He's Adam's right-hand man and internet brother. And he has his very own YouTube channel. And I think he's trending right now on Telegraph because Telegraph is blowing up with the Friends of Dex J, which is great. And here we go. Here he comes.
Right.
Dex J in the house. Woo, woo.
Well, hello, Ann and Lynn. It's so great to see you. And thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you for coming and being our guest.
Got your coffee, Dex? Or are you drinking water?
Sure do.
All right. Group. Whoop, whoop. Coffee clink. Whoop, whoop. Everybody, we got to get a sip of coffee before we get started.
Hey, somebody out there said got the brew ready, so they're ready. They're ready and with us today. Oh, and we forgot. We were going to say, Dex, he's our man. He's the best. Remember, we forgot to do our cheer. We're so sorry.
I know. Well, we can do it right now. Dex, you're our man. He's the best tech in the land. Woo-hoo!
Yeah.
Hey, Dex.
You are great.
I think you've seen. Hey, I started to say, I think you've seen us with our pom poms.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I do believe we did a cheer for Adam one time, didn't we?
Yes, we did. We did. We cheered for Adam. That's been a while ago.
Well, now we're cheering for Dex.
Yes. And so we all love you. He's our very favorite tech guy out there. Dex, tell us about yourself. Tell us about yourself.
Well, what do you want to know? I'm sort of an open book. I will pretty much go just about anywhere and answer any questions you have. You know, I have been in the tech field for a long time. I've been, doing the thing with Adam here, the Marfugal channel with the Fugal fam for over 2 years. So yeah, I've got quite a bit of, I probably got some stories to tell for sure.
Ooh,
that was one of my questions what is a funny story that you could tell us? Is there something funny, like a behind the scenes something or something that personally happened to you?
No, but I'll tell you something that I do all the time.
Okay.
And nobody knows this, and I do it to Adam, and it drives him crazy, but it's also funny. We'll be getting ready for the show right before the show goes on, and he'll say something or do something goofy or whatever, and I'll be like, "Oh, whoops, you're live." He panics for a split second, saying, "Oh my gosh, what just happened?" As you know, there's always gremlins in the system, and things always do. And we've accidentally gone live before we meant to, and things like that. So, yeah, usually we're sitting there setting up, we're getting things going, and I don't know, he does something goofy, and all of a sudden I'll tell him he's live, and he panics. It's kind of funny. So it's my little joke to him. I tease him with that.
Dex, I have news for you.
Yeah.
We're live. We're live.
Did you edit that out?
Not right now.
We're live.
Well, Lynn, we're live. Lynn, do you have something to ask Dex?
Oh, well, sure I do. Of course I do.
Yeah, I handed it over to you, girl.
Thank you, Ann. First of all, Dex, you are, as Memo would say, and you know our Memo, Dex?
Oh, I know Memo.
You know Memo. Well, she would say, this is Dex, my Georgia peach. He's just my little Georgia peach. I'll tell you what, you keep your hands off of my Dex. He's my peach. He's a peach of a man.
You got her down. Whew, you can really imitate Memo.
Memo lives with us, so don't you think I hear that voice in my head a lot?
All the time.
Lynn, don't do this way. Lynn, do it my way. Okay. How did you find Marv, though? How did you, now that we know you've been with him a little over 2 years, how did you ever come across the Marv Fugal fam?
Yeah, so I think I ran into Adam a few times. I should say that I ran into Adam's channel a few times during his early days. And then when I really started watching him was just before, right around the FEMA video. And I know a lot of people reference that when he was out interviewing the officer. That's when I started watching him. And I want to say that was like in October, November, over 2 years ago time period. But come December, somebody, and I think it was Mama Bear and Papa Bear or somebody had started a Discord server. And they had just gotten it going, but they were struggling to deal with some of the intricacies of Discord at the time. So I had volunteered with some of the folks that were setting up the Discord to help actually make it bigger and better and do a lot of the more elaborate things that we ended up doing with the Discord back in the day. And during that initial month in December is when I met Adam, and he and I just hit it off. We just started talking. I was doing other things, and he was obviously working on the channel, trying to grow it, and I was working on the Discord and volunteering for that. And we just hit it off and became really good friends from that point on. And I think January I started actually working on the show, and I'm certain by February I was producing a lot of content with him. And helping in a much bigger way. So yeah, December was really when we met, and mostly it was around Discord. And from then, and that was going to be we're from 2021 to 2019. It was the whole year of 19, a whole year of 20. So I've been there 2 years and a month now.
So now, Lynn, I know how long we've been on YouTube. We just had our 3rd anniversary.
No, sorry. It's second. It was January. I just wrote.
Are you sure?
January 9th, 2019.
Okay.
I know time flies, right? Mm-hmm. But I want to ask Dex some questions from out in the chat.
Okay.
You're receiving questions. Okay. I don't want to forget these. Okay. This is from Tina, Dex. I'm technically illiterate. However, should I ditch my iPhone for an Android, in parentheses, which I have a hard time figuring out?
No, absolutely not. Why would you do that? That would be my question. For starters, they both have their they're both in the limelight, and they both have their issues and why people don't want to use them. But I would definitely say that Apple has a much stronger stance on privacy than Google. So I would definitely, and I'm using Apple. I currently use an Apple, and I continue to use an Apple, and I don't plan on switching anytime soon. Certainly, I don't like everything that's going on, but in my opinion, if you have an Apple and you like an Apple, I would just stick with it, and it's probably the lesser of the two, if you want to look at it that way.
Oh, thank you.
Even though they're both going to be, can be considered troublesome. I'm trying to be polite here, but I would definitely think one's the lesser of the two.
All right. And silent majority. Dex, were you ever a DJ? You have the voice for it. I agree.
Yes,
that's great. I've actually never been a DJ. I bought a little DJ record spinning digital thing ages ago with my kids to play with, but that's about the extent of my DJ experience.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. since we did say, okay, we're just going to do it. What's a typical day in your life? Now, I know you have different days because I know you, but I know because you have days you prepare. I mean, I'm sure you prepare every day, but,
Right.
and then show day is definitely got to be the pressure on there. But
Right.
what's a typical day in the day of Dex J?
Well, so I'll just go ahead and give you the big chunk. The big chunk of the day is spent working on the show. So either we're researching and preparing and trying to find, information and content and bring together the information that we know the family will want to hear about. So that's probably the biggest chunk is creating that content and planning and preparing and spending time, going over it, finding the stories, sourcing the stories, making sure they're right, things like that. That's probably the biggest chunk of the day. So what may be more interesting is outside of, just doing the show, like what do I do with the rest of my time, right? Well, obviously we've been stuck indoors, right? Because we don't really go anywhere anymore. We don't go out. And, and I mean, you do go out to shop, but it's not like you go out to hang out anymore. It's kind of strange. So my days kind of changed quite a bit. I've been in the house a lot, and I even joke sometimes. I'm like, I've got the, one of these apps that we use with the kids just to know where everybody is. And it tells you how long you've been in one location. It's like, you haven't left your home in 5 days. I'm like, well, I need to get out. I need to get in the car and go somewhere. But yeah, typical day for me, I have some side work I do. I've got a lot of other time that I'm spending working on, say, the replacement we're working on for the Discord server for the state group. So I spend a lot of time working on that. There's a lot of technical behind the scenes that goes on in running the site, running all the back end pieces for Marfugal. So I do spend a lot of time doing that. And then I have other little projects I work on here and there and, try to find time for myself. I am a workaholic. So if you, ask anybody around me, they'll tell you, hey, he doesn't, if you ask my wife, Lexi, she'll say, yeah, he's not happy unless he's working. So
well, have you been doing?
I have FOMO. Some people have FOMO of missing out on other things. I have FOMO of working.
Well, I think there was a song out there, 8 days a week.
Yeah. I could probably use 10.
Let me ask you this. Have you done any remodeling at your house? Everybody's fixing and painting and remodeling.
Yeah, actually, well, with my kids getting older and moving out, we've redone some of the rooms. We've redone places in our house. This is the room I'm in now is it's a different bedroom in the house, but it's now my office. I think you may have seen me in the past where I had the guitars on the wall. That's actually pointing over there. I just turned my desk right now because I like it positioned this way. I like looking at the guitars instead of having them look at me. But I did. This is fresh paint, and this was a room we recently redid. I need to do the floors in it. I need to redo my old room, which I had done up really nice for the old studio that used to have the big decks on the wall and all that.
I like that.
Yeah, that was the smallest room in the house. So now I've moved to a little bit bigger of a room. So I've got a little bit more elbow room in here.
Oh, good for you.
But we turned that one into the dog's room. So my dog actually has a bedroom in the house because the kids aren't here. So
it makes perfect sense. I've been there. Our dog had its own room too. So I understand that. Yeah, they're people too, aren't they? What kind of dog do you have?
I have a mutt. He is a rescue dog. We were out at the lake over in Alabama that we go to recreationally with friends and stuff. And one of our friends' kids picked the dog up on the side of the road, and he was just, skin and bones, but just, obviously lost. And so he brought him to the lake house, my friend's lake house, and we spent the weekend there, running around in the lake. And every single time we would get on the boat, the stray dog was curled up under the helm, hiding. And we'd be out on the water. We'd look down like, oh, look, here's this dog. Where did this dog come from? So, he just hung out with us all weekend. So we ended up feeding him and hanging out with him. And then we decided to take him home. And we took him home, and he's been the best dog ever. And his name's Boat. Boat dog.
What's his name?
Boat.
Boat?
BOAT. Yeah, because that's where we found him. He just kept climbing on the boat. So we called him Boat Dog. One of our friends had named him that, and we thought it was funny, so we kept it.
Well, Miss Kay says mutts, and she has heart mutts. They are the best dogs, and I think they can be, can't they?
Oh, absolutely. He is the sweetest dog. Everybody who comes over and meets him loves him. He is the most awesome dog. And just like, you can have like an awesome child and everybody thinks your kid is really great and then they don't have to live with them. So then he does have his quirks. So while he is everybody's favorite dog and he is awesome and I do love him, he does have his quirks. He has some sort of phobia, extreme phobia with loud noises and storms. And I'm sure it's because he was abandoned and outside. And I don't know, we even think he might have even been struck by lightning or something, because he will dig obsessively when there's a lightning storm. It doesn't matter. You can put tranquilizers in that dog and he will still dig. He has tunneled through 1, 2, 3, 4 walls in my house through the sheetrock. I've done 3 repair jobs and I have 1 repair job left to do. And I had to buy him what's called an anxiety crate. So it's a special steel crate that's completely enclosed with little tiny holes in it, so that if he wants to go nuts, he can't hurt himself. And that wasn't cheap. Well, so he's loved.
Well, that was Bones's question. Bones said, ask Dex about the story about the dog digging the hole in the drywall.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Without even asking, thank you. You just knew, right?
He went through the bathroom linen closet into the next bedroom and then stopped because he hit a piece of furniture that was on the wall.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh
my God. And we didn't know. We didn't realize it until one day we're like, what is this mess? And we started pulling stuff apart and realized he had tunneled through like the towels in the linen closet. And then, it was like he had a rodent, but it was a full-size dog hole.
Oh my God. Oh, it's not funny, but that is funny.
Yeah.
Well, it is. Well, Ann, do you remember that we had a dog named Charlie? And Charlie loved to bring garbage up to our front door. Do you remember that? Our porch?
Oh yeah.
That he always brought that to our mother. He would bring up the neighbors' whiskey bottles and all kinds of good things. So when people would knock, Oh, well, I do want to ask you, we were talking about not being able to go so many places, but when you're ready to go on vacation, where would you like to go? And then where have been some of your favorite places that you have visited?
Well, I'm easy. I just like to go anywhere that's not home, as long as it's comfortable. I don't mind. I would go camping. I'd go camping, but I wouldn't necessarily go do it just because I enjoy the outdoors, but I don't necessarily enjoy sleeping on the ground. I'll do it. I have no problem with it. But yeah, I just like to get away. So to me, it's more about getting to another location. So for example, we go down to Florida all the time just because it's so convenient. We can 6 hours, we can be in Orlando, and Orlando has everything. And we go to Orlando and don't even go to parks sometimes. We'll just go down there for a few days and hang. And so that's probably where you would find us the most when we hit the road. But I have traveled other places. If I was going to actually go anywhere I wanted to, it would probably be to another country just so that I have yet another experience. I've done it a few times. I've been to England, and I've been to Australia, and I've been to some of the islands in the Caribbean. So I know those are other countries as well. But yeah, those were probably 2 big trips for me in my lifetime that I enjoyed, and maybe going to Asia or someplace else would be probably on my list if I had the opportunity to do it. So I just said, hey, you can go anywhere you want to go. I'll probably pick a location out of the country so I could go see something. Probably Rome. I think I haven't been to Italy. My family's from Italy, so that would probably be an interesting trip.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes. Yeah.
I went to England once and got food poisoning. So I saw a lot of feet that it was on my head. I even had to go to the hospital in Cambridge there outside of, I guess, London. But yeah, I was sick as a dog. And so I saw a lot of feet that week. And the English, I love you all. Not very pretty feet, what I saw.
What I can't tell you I don't like about the long distance travel is going to be the airplane ride, right?
Oh,
flying to England's not a big deal because you do it. It's 8-9 hours or something like that, or 8 hours, and you get on the plane, you eat, you take a nap, or you fall asleep, and then you wake up and you're there, right? In general, but when you go across the world, when I flew to Australia, it was horrible. I shouldn't say that because it was a business trip, and the company was flying me, and I got to fly in business class. So that part was great, but like it was just like the never-ending flight.
Yes.
I know. When I flew over to England, I went to visit family, and they sat me, those 747. They sat me right dead center of the plane in the middle of about 100 band kids. I was surrounded by teenagers, and here is grandma, right? I mean, totally surrounded as far as I could see. But it was a big band trip with several schools that had come together. And they all were like, would you like to sit? They gave me a aisle seat. So, because I was right in the middle of all these kids. And I'm like, holy cow, this is going to be interesting. 3 kids over here, a couple kids to the, holy cow. But anyhow, it turned out it was a pretty good trip. It was a good trip. Yeah. But other than getting food poisoning and almost dying.
I want to clarify something.
Yeah.
It was not the British food that gave you food poisoning.
No, it wasn't their. Well, I don't know.
It was not their food.
No, it was a carnival, and I ate some meat on a stick. I thought it was steak, and woohoo! But anyhow, I know. Funny story. One of my kids, they went. Their very first airplane trip was to Japan. Oh, wow. And that kid was so worn out by the time she got there. I felt so bad for her, but that was her. I mean, that's not a good first airplane trip. I don't think. You should probably just take a 2-hour ride first instead of
right. Trip. You know that if you're not afraid of what's going around, in the air right now, you can get some pretty cheap flights out here. If you really wanted to get out and travel. I think if I was younger. And single and just had all the free time in the world, I'd probably be hopping planes right now, especially with all these cheap fares. I'd be all over the place.
Well, one of my friends, one of my girlfriends. She's going to see her. I mean, she's flying. She said, "Man, there's nobody on the planes. They're just there. I mean, she's been taking several trips. I don't think anything slowed her down to see her grandchildren, but she's just like, I'm like, holy, I can't hardly believe it, but." Yeah, I bet you can get a lot of cheap flights. Hey, Dex, I have a question for you.
Sure. Okay.
All right. What's it like? Has anybody come up to you and said on the street and said they've known you? Because you're a YouTube star.
Well, my face isn't out there because I'm not on camera that much, and I don't personally feel like I need to be on camera, but I know a lot of people want to see me, but that's fine. But apparently my voice was known, and I was at an event locally here. And somebody had asked, "Hey, who is that? He sounds familiar." And then when my wife said, "Yeah, he's on YouTube," he goes, "Is that Dax?" And so, I guess I was sort of, found in public, so to speak. But it was more of my voice at the time, and it was in a group setting and out in the. I don't want to say what it is; I don't want to get you in trouble. That kind of stuff we can't talk about anymore. But it was out at a gathering of festivities, let's call it, and we were having fun.
Yes, because you have a very distinguishable voice, doesn't he, Lynn? Yeah, I would know your voice.
Handsome voice.
Absolutely. And then
I want to. Oh, go ahead, Ann. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say, our parents had a television show for a long time locally, but then it kind of went out in different areas, and it was fun to be able to go shopping with them, and people would do and then they would come up. It was Christian TV program. So it was fun to have people recognize them and to be with them when they get, and then even years later, after our father had passed away, even our mom was still recognized. I was in Walmart with her years later. And it's only been a couple of years back or so. And, a gentleman came up to her and said, you should be on there now, on the radio at least, right? So it's kind of fun.
Now, Adams, you guys are doing this series every Friday or every so often, and it is unidentified.
Unidentified, yeah.
Unidentified. And we were on last Friday, which was so
you guys
much
were
fun.
awesome on there. That story you told, I mean,
Well,
you had called me and you were like, oh, should we tell this? And I'm like, are you kidding? After you told me the story, I'm like, you've got to come on the air and tell that story. It was great. Yeah, you two are wonderful. So that show, it was kind of funny. Adam and I were talking like, yeah, maybe we should do a show on this. Let's see. We always, every now and then we'll get calls for it, so we actually said, hey, we're going to do a show, and we did it one Friday. And lo and behold, we had a ton of calls and a ton of content, really. A lot of people bringing in information that they want to share. And that's really what it's about, is how can we help everybody bring the information together, share the information. And it was such a huge hit the first show. We said, well, we'll do it a second time. And then by the time we did it a second time, it's like, all right, we're going to do this every Friday, or at least one day a week. We're going to have an unidentified day of the week. I think the last couple of Fridays were holidays, so it kind of threw off the schedule. But yeah, Unidentified Friday has turned out to be a huge hit. And a lot of folks just, they go and they submit their videos to Play My Video on our website. And we can show content there, or they call in and we can show what they've got, or tell their stories like you two did.
Yeah.
Well, I want to ask you, have you ever seen a UFO or anything unidentified?
Yes, I did. And it was, the interesting thing is it was near an airport, and it could have very well been an airplane, but it didn't act like an airplane. And that's what was surprising to me. I was probably 17 years old at the time. So we're probably talking, I don't know, maybe 1991-ish time period. But it was like this triangle shaped craft that had 3 distinct lights on it. And it just sort of hovered, and it moved really slowly and silently. And it had no sound whatsoever. And it was because where I was at the time, I was at my girlfriend's house, and she was near this one airport, and we knew there were planes all the time. You could hear them, you could see them. We used to go watch airplanes there, but there was just one craft this one time that was really, really distinct and odd. And it didn't necessarily fly to the airport, but it was flying right over in that area. And that was kind of an interesting, triangle shaped craft at the time. It was dark, so we couldn't really see it, but I assumed it might have been something different.
Yeah.
Well, I think, when Lynn and I and our entire family, it was our family and then our 2 aunts and uncle, there were 8 of us there in 1966. It's something that really we've never forgotten. It made my interest into UFOs and that kind of stuff really, it's like, well, what is this, And then through the years, we kind of questioned ourselves, like, did we really, but we really did, didn't we? We really did. When I take, how do I say this? Nowadays, there is so much stuff up there. You don't know really, if it's a drone, or if it's it's a military that we don't know about, or, do you think there's more credibility to the older stories?
I think there absolutely is. I think there's credibility to all of it. And I think what we don't know is what is the origin. And I actually think the origin is probably a lot of different things. I think you're probably going to find out that there are crafts that are produced by ourselves that are way ahead of their time. As we know, the stuff that we get to know about today was actually made 20, 30, 40 years ago. Just imagine what they're building today, and they don't just build something and not fly it. They actually do fly it, and they have to, because they have to make sure it works, right? So that stuff's happening, and it's just super secret, right? And there's probably other things that we don't know about, whether it's from other countries or whether it's from other worlds, if you want to call it that. I don't know if you want to think of it as another planet, or if you think of it as another dimension or another something. And it sort of interweaves throughout any type of philosophy you have. You can call it what you want, but I think there's other things that are not necessarily made by us that have been here, and I sort of believe that's a very distinct possibility. Yeah,
me too. I think we both do too. My husband and I started watching on Peacock. There's a series, the Battlestar Galactica, and it's the more recent one. And so the premise of that story is man built AI, and then AI built AI, and then they want to destroy man. So that's kind of you wonder if that kind of stuff could be going on too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Very well could be. It does.
I mean, are the computers going to take over us and someday try to get rid of us? You know,
they certainly can, and I think that there is an obvious evolution of what computers are going to do. What I think we have to keep in mind is that our minds actually are probably you can think of it as a computer. It's all electronic. There's a lot of electrons and electronic information that's flowing through all the synapses and stuff in your brain, right? So it's probably one of the most powerful computers, if you want to just put the incorrect label on it, a computer, even though it's not a computer. But this thinking machine that's up here in your noggin is probably one of the most powerful out there. And as these AI and supercomputers and quantum computers come along, they're going to match that capability. Now, I sort of think that what we'll probably end up seeing is a ability for us to tap into more of what's up here, because we only use a very small percentage of our brain capacity. And we will probably be able to expand what we use up here, and probably expand how we use our own brains with the electronics. And I know people get like sort of up in arms when Elon talks about, hey, we need to have this technology that allows us to tap into the brain. But I really think what he's doing is thinking about it from a defensive point of view. Like if you just allow the computers to evolve, and they're going to, you can't stop that, right? I mean, you just can't stop it. It will happen. So you can fight it all you want, but you're wasting your time. So the question is, if it's going to happen, what do you do? So what can you do to make sure that as it happens, we have an equal playing field? We have the ability to manage it and prevent it from getting out of control. And if you tap into the most powerful computer in the world, which is sitting up in everyone's noggin in a sensible, smart way, then maybe we have a better way of approaching that intelligence when the digital intelligence comes to life, because nothing moves faster than what's up here, period, right now.
Right.
That's amazing.
Wow. It is. And I mean, who knows what we're going to see? I just recently gave in to, very reluctantly to getting my house a little bit more of a smart house, where I can tell the bedroom light to come on. But, and it is really nice to be able to say, without having to, in the middle of the night, you can say, hey, turn the light on here, turn the light on there. I have, it's starting to enjoy that, but it's also, I really was reluctant to do it because of privacy concerns.
Right.
But I don't know that like you said, there's no stopping it. And it's just going to get more and more. So if you want to be kind of relevant, you do have to kind of go with the flow, right? Being aware.
Yeah, and I totally agree. I think, there are trade-offs you have to make. You can decide to make them or you don't. I mean, you can think that the television corrupts the brain, so therefore you never watch TV. Okay, you can think, then you can take that to the internet and the computer, and then you can just go live, naturally out on the farm and just do that. And that's perfectly okay if that's what you so choose.
Right.
But the rest of the world is going to evolve around you. And if you want to participate in that, and you choose to participate in that, then you sort of have to, I don't want to say give in, but you have to sort of make the right decisions for the technology you want to bring into your home. And, I did the same thing. I have electronic stuff. I have electronic lights that I can turn on and off by talking. I don't talk to Alexa. I use Siri, but that's just my personal choice. And I don't like a lot of what I've heard from Alexa, but I've also heard negatives from Siri, but it just hasn't been as much. But yeah, and by the way, it drives my wife nuts because she prefers to just flip on the light switch. And now when she can't flip on the light switch, she's like, what do I do? And I had to go find light switches that work with it. So it's all doable, but it does. There are definitely trade-offs. I mean, I have a security camera system around my entire property, but I also know that the only way you can buy these security camera systems is they're made from China and they've got back doors into them. So, I know that I have to have that vulnerability, but at the same time, I like being able to look at a screen in my house and see what's going on all the way around my property.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say DK period 555. I miss the old school method of smart clap on, clap off lights.
Well, you probably can still buy Don't you think you could still probably buy those somewhere?
Sure.
I bet they're out there.
Yeah, they're still out
There they
there.
are. And we have started a little bit too. We have that where we can say so and so, lights on or whatever. So it's, but also, Dex, believe it or not, Ann and I are like a whole lot older than you.
Oh,
Okay,
now,
but
man.
but we remember we remember black and white TV, and then we remember color TV, and that was super cool. And also remember the tin foil on the antennas because they came off the back of the television, and we would put or a fork, which I don't know why but we'd put a fork back there, and and then but we had to turn the stations. Oh, actually by hand.
Yeah, I remember that too.
And the volume. So when remote control came in, hey, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It really was. And televisions went from being huge and now they're curved and you can feel like you're in the ocean now and everything else. So I mean, just the technology that even the little bit that we've seen, right, Ann?
Oh, a lot. When one of my first full-time jobs was working in as a data processor, did data entry, and I got in just after the card system where the cards got punched. But then this company went to, this was huge, CRTs, and you would enter all the information, and it would go, and you would go into the computer and the JCL file and you change, I want to range from here to here. And then it would go all the way to Texas and process and come all the way back to us, hundreds of miles away. And then the reports would come out on like 6-part paper. You'd put that in there and then you'd have to take all the carbon out of it. So you'd have 6 copies of this report. So that's really ancient now. And, I used to be, I was in the computer department of this company for 9 years and was learning to, just starting to learn how to do some hardware stuff. And then they decided they went with a different computer system and everybody could just enter their own data and everybody could be responsible for their own reports and blah, blah, blah. So then I went to another department, but for a while there, I felt like I really was, I knew what was going on. I was like on top of the computer world, in my little world. And then all of a sudden it just exploded, and I've, it's a struggle to keep up with it. You have, now I'm just too old, but I think we're doing pretty good because we're on YouTube.
Before I did.
Huh?
You used computers before I did, and I go back pretty far with the technology. So
yeah, we used to enter all the data. I used to do, it was like over 10,000 keystrokes, whatever, an hour. It was really pretty fast. Now, I'm like, red fox, with my fingers, but,
yes.
But I used to do that, and so, yeah, it's really changed now. Everything is so different,
I have a question here. Bone said, ask you about the Amazon driver.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. That's an actual driver, right? Actual person.
Yeah, this Amazon person just for some reason kept driving through our lawn. They would literally, instead of pulling up the driveway, getting out, dropping off your package, backing out of the driveway and leave, would drive in and just do a big circle in the yard so they could just drive straight out. It's like they were driving a vehicle that didn't have reverse. And it wasn't just us; they did it to our neighbors too. So I had security cameras, so I had the footage and I put it up, and I think I shared it with the local news, and it went viral, and it was everywhere when it happened. And yeah, and it was so funny because then all the Amazon drivers after that, and by the way, in fairness to Amazon, it wasn't them; it was their outsourced company, but it did have their logo on the van.
Yeah,
but all the drivers after that would, every time they would come, for the first week or so, they would always stop at my house, and you could see it was a different driver, and he would take a picture. He's like, yeah, that's the house that person was at, or, that was one of the news. And I'm like, all right, this is getting old. And then they quit coming in my driveway. Like they would literally stop out in the street now. And I kept telling them, like, you guys can come in my driveway, just don't drive through my lawn. Like it's not a parking lot. It's it's grass, and it's not even. It's
I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing, but that's like terrible.
Yeah, it was the dumbest thing. I couldn't believe they did that. But it wasn't even me. It was my neighbor. They did it there. So I'm sure whoever this driver was just doing it anywhere they could get the opportunity just to make a U-turn in somebody's yard. They were doing it.
Oh, my goodness.
KP says, I was listening to your live show on my way to work. I wish I could keep watching. I work in Branson, Missouri.
Oh, we love Branson.
And lives in Arkansas. Have a good day. So KP, have a great day there at work.
Awesome, but actually, I want to go to Branson. That's on my list. I haven't been there.
Let's
Branson?
talk Branson then.
Yeah.
Well, we go to Branson. Well, Lynn and I, my husband and I, and Lynn and cameraman, we all are vacation owners.
But we're happy vacation owners.
Vacation club owners. No, we're very happy vacation club owners. And so one of the places that we do go is we go down there. And there's a lot to see, right? I don't know right now, but there's a lot to see. There's a lot to do. It's really great, isn't it, Lynn?
I'm in that same club, probably, because that's one of the locations we can go to too. And we just haven't been.
Well, I'd say I've probably been 10 times or no, maybe 15. Cameraman and I used to go with a group on a bus. I mean, we went all the time on our own anyways. And how long was it, Ann, from here? 10 hours, time we ate?
No, well, if you on the bus, yeah.
No, on the bus it could go longer than that. But
it may
I
take
used to go with the group. But when we go,
it always takes them a lot longer than it does.
On a senior bus it does. But we went with you also, and then we go on our own a lot. How many times? How much? 8 hours?
8 hours, yeah.
Yeah.
Now we plotted it from where I am right now. It's like 14. So I'm like, oh man. But I want to go back. I want to go back. We may have to stop and pick you guys up.
Hey, pick me up. Just a minute. Can I say this? Beam me up, Ann. Beam me up. I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
But seriously.
So is that sarcasm with the vacation ownership, or is that positive?
Pardon me?
Was that sarcasm with the vacation ownership?
No.
Yeah, we have that too, and we've liked ours too. I've owned it for a long time. I was fortunate enough to buy one ages ago, and it's sort of like it's making more sense now than it did back then.
Yes, yeah. And another thing, we live within 6 hours of Pigeon Forge. No longer, quicker. Well, not time cameraman and I drive it.
We went one time. I went with her and him one time, just to was it 4 hours away? When we went to.
No, it's not.
Gatlinburg's nice.
When we went north, like 4 hours away, it took us 8 hours to get home because we had to stop at every little town in between.
What's my hobby, Ann?
Huh?
What's my hobby, Ann? What's my hobby?
Shopping.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Fishing and shopping.
Yes, I'm trying to break.
I'll pick you up with my wife because she loves shopping too.
See, I am not.
She just likes to buy, and she likes to buy deals, and she likes to buy things that But it's all about the deal. She saves more money than I don't know how she does it. She'll be like, "Oh, I went to the store today, and she got bags full of stuff. I spent like $15." I'm like, "How did you do that?"
I know.
That's Lynn. That's what Lynn does. But
I can't help it. I can't help it. I go in. We cameraman and I, Dex, we stopped at a Cracker Barrel, and down in the Missouri, and I went in and 90% off. Now, how does that happen?
Yeah,
You
and
can't turn that down. That's huge.
Yeah, her eyes will glaze over. They glaze over, and it's like sail. It's just like a
Okay.
And then she's in the boat.
Can I give a shout out? Now, Dex, I'm not sure what I can do, but there is, for people who need a prescription, you can have insurance, not have insurance. It starts out with a G. This does and ends with an X. If it's you can, well, it's Good RX.
Yeah.
Okay. I can prove this to you. I mean, I can go get proof, but you all have to take my word. My doctor wants me to increase one of my medicines, and I can't afford it. I mean, it's outrageous. So I printed off. I did my due diligence, printed off a coupon, and went to had to go to another town to a larger store. And she almost flipped. She said, "Your prescription for it's 6 months, but I have to double it, so it's 3 months. It was $1,500." And I paid $27.07 with that coupon.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, I mean, come on, guys. You know, there's deals out there. I am a deal person.
Yeah. I agree. We use GoodRx all the time.
I don't know what I can say sometimes, what I can't say, but I've sure said a lot of names today, and we're not sponsored by anything.
Yeah, they're not paying for it, so let's not give them any more attention. But yeah, if it helps everybody else out, go get it. It does work. It's a free app.
Oh,
it does. But Linda's a real shopper. She'll find a bargain, and if I'm with her and we're in a store, and when you walk in Walmart, they always have these sale carts right in front, or stuff hanging on the little round whirly thing, and man, oh man, I'm like, no, blinders, because we're here to get blinders. But she's like, whoa, she's in the zone and she's ready to buy. I'm kind of the opposite.
Anyway, I have a question. I do have a question before we go. How did you settle in the state of Georgia? And have you lived other states? Have you been a traveling man?
That was easy. My mama. I was born here. So yeah, I grew up. I've lived all around the metro Atlanta area. I was actually born in Atlanta. Lived just out on the east side of Atlanta back in, as a baby. But before I started kindergarten, I moved to a town called Rome, Georgia, which is actually named after Rome. Rome, Georgia has the same number of rivers and same number of hills, so that's why they called it Rome. It was sort of the America's Rome, but it doesn't look like Rome, Italy. But it's a nice little town. I lived up there for a while, and then I moved into North Atlanta area. If you're from Atlanta, it's called North Cobb, and I grew up in that area for most of my from probably middle of elementary all the way through college. So I've been in Georgia my whole life. Everything I've done has been here in Georgia, and my kids were here in Georgia, and so I just never left and decided to stay there. Now I'm at the point now where I'm entertaining other places to go for various reasons. But yeah, I've been in Georgia and lived here. I haven't lived anywhere else.
Wow, that's wonderful.
And I don't have a Georgia accent. Yeah, I am a Georgia peach, but I don't have the accent because I was raised by my Italian mother, who was from Chicago. So I didn't pick it up. But if I hang out with my friends around here, I can easily start talking like I'm from Georgia. I fit right in. But normally I don't have an accent at all. Never have.
Well, we have a sister-in-law, and she has an accent like everything. And I have a daughter-in-law said, I just love her to pieces, but I can't understand her. So I have to kind of translate when they're around.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
But anyway,
it's been. Boy, this has been so great, Dex, to have you on our show today. This has just been so awesome. Thank you so very much.
When did I live in Silicon Valley? Just want to clear it up. I've worked in Silicon Valley, but I didn't live there. So I don't know if somebody's misconstruing that or if that's some other conversation that's going on. But no, I worked in tech. I worked in big tech. I've worked in small tech that grew into big tech. And I've worked for companies that were in Silicon Valley and that are no longer in Silicon Valley. So I spent more than enough time out there to know that I don't want to live there. It's not for me. That's not my cup of tea. Technology is, but not the, if you ever want to know what it's like there was that sitcom on, I think it was HBO. It was called Silicon Valley, and you would think it was like an over the top comedy dramatization of Silicon Valley, but it's actually closer to reality of just how insane it is there. Yeah, I'll just leave it at that. I don't like Silicon Valley at all.
It's a young
probably don't like me either, but that's okay.
Well, is it a young crowd? A younger, I'm going to say 30-somethings and 20-somethings?
Well, yes and no. I mean, there's older folks there too that have grown up from the early days of Silicon Valley that have been there forever. But it's an attitude, and it's and everything you hear about and everything that you know about from the left coast, if you want to call it that. And I'm not throwing all of California under the bus, because California, the state, is probably great. And there's probably lots of cool places in California. I've been all over California, and I know there's a lot of great places in California. But just that whole, mentality around Silicon Valley, I just don't like it. I never did.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think there are a lot better technology areas. Even Atlanta was a really great, obviously I survived here, and we had a lot of great technology that grew up out of Atlanta. There's a lot of great tech here. There's good tech in Austin. There's good tech in Boulder, in Denver. There's other places that I've been that I've seen lots of great tech, even in Canada. So even New York City for a while had probably still does, but I think they're dealing with their own issues now.
Yeah.
So are you entertaining the thought of someday moving to somewhere else then?
Oh yeah, I've entertained the thought of the Panhandle. I've entertained the thought of the Ozarks. I've entertained the thought of there's lots of options for me, especially since we're in this world now where we work out of our homes, and so yeah, I'm living in a place that was ideal for me when I had kids. I don't necessarily need all this space, so we've given it thought, and
Okay.
I don't know. We haven't actually picked a location. We just keep talking about it, but we'll probably come up with a plan eventually.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a question from Bones. Ask if True Apple is trying to destroy Telegram now.
Telegram.
I have heard rumors. I haven't heard if there was an official notification out. If you recall, with Parler, they actually came out and said, "Hey, you have 24 hours to fix this." I do know, if you look back in the past news, Telegram has had issues where they have been asked by the app stores to fix something, remove something, block something, or prove that they can be better at preventing, certain somethings from happening in different countries too, not just here. These were in other countries, because Telegram's global. It actually, I can tell you a little bit about it. It started by a couple people out of Russia. I would think it's based in Dubai now. I'm not really sure. I have to go check, but I think they're actually in Dubai. It's an international product. Its security is private. In other words, they have a security algorithm that they use, that they say everything you say on there is secure, as long as it's between other people or in that chat group. But that security algorithm they use is not public. So anyway, long story short, I don't know officially, to answer your question, Bones, but it wouldn't surprise me if they don't look at doing that. Now, these guys can keep going after everybody they want, and then you'll just have a phone that has nothing on it but, Facebook and Twitter, and I don't know that people are going to want that. So,
right.
Well, it can't happen forever,
Right.
but it may happen for a little bit.
Okay.
Well, I've been posting on Parler, so I'm hoping that they will come back. Listening to one of the part owners, Dan Bongino, he's hoping that they will come back this week. So I am too. I hope they'll come
we'll
back.
See. We hope they will. I think they have some technical issues that they've got to get over, and that will determine whether or not they'll be back sooner or if it'll take longer. Is how they resolve some of those tech issues.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's see. Any other questions out there, Lynn? Any other questions out there for us?
No, a lot of conversation about moving to the Ozarks, though, today.
Oh.
The funny thing is, I don't know a thing about the Ozarks. I've never been. I probably need to go there and figure out if it's even something I want to do.
It's a very pretty area.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear a lot of people say they want to go there. So that's sort of why it's on my list. But for that matter, Texas is on my list too. But I've been to
Okay.
Texas. I've been to Galveston and Dallas and Fort Worth and Austin and Houston. So I know a little bit about Texas, but I don't know anything about the Ozarks.
Okay.
Oklahoma
Yeah.
was nice. I've been there.
We lived in a place called Broken Arrow, Oklahoma. I've lived in Broken Arrow, outside of Tulsa.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and
Well,
we've been to Tucson because that was one of my kids lived in Tucson for a while. That's a beautiful area, Tucson. And then in another previous life, when I was an Army wife, yeah, we were stationed in El Paso, Texas, and that was very, very dry, very, very just the sandstorms. That was that was different. So I've actually lived several different states, with the Army moving. And then now with Dave, we've been several states. And then we just recently moved to New York. And I'm like, whoa, but we're like 5-6 hours from New York City. So I had no idea. Yeah, I had no idea that New York was as beautiful, really, as it is. And we're surrounded by mountains where we live right now. They're on both sides of me. And right now we have a really overcast, yucky day. But when the sun shines and you see the mountains, and I got here right as the trees, they were still real pretty fall colors. They were still up and it was gorgeous. Mm-hmm. So far, so good. We'll see how it goes. I don't have a choice.
Yes.
If I could find the perfect location that was a smaller home with maybe a big workshop and a work area where I could run and do some business stuff that I do out of it, and it was on the water, whether it's a nice lake or I don't want to be on the ocean, but like on what do you call it, the backwater, or on a canal that led out to say a bay or to an open area, that would be ideal for me. That's why I've looked in Florida. I've looked at other lake areas and things like that. I don't know. I just like the water. My wife likes the water, and we have a boat, so it's like, well, if I actually if we could literally walk out the door and use the boat anytime we want, it would be so much better than having a boat that you can't just walk out your back door and use all the time. Because you know how boats are. They just sit.
Do you guys watch these shows where people are looking for the cabin life and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I've watched a few of them. I haven't watched enough of them. I watched the RV lifers. That was an interesting one. And I even took my wife. We went to go look at an RV. I was like, hey, let's go look. Let's just go look. I had a travel trailer a long time ago. I was like, you ought to just see what it's like. But it wasn't what we wanted to do or what we would do.
Right.
I don't think we wouldn't just live in one. And I don't want to park one either and not use it. Might as well rent one or just spend the money in a hotel.
Yeah. Yeah, or your vacation club.
Exactly. Vacation club.
Yeah. And we've kept Dex. It's been such a privilege. Yeah.
Last chance. I'll give you more if you want. You got any other questions?
One more. Okay.
Does anybody else have any questions out there for Dex?
No, but someone said that they lived in Broken Arrow in 1989, and I think we left Broken Arrow in 82. So they were there just after I lived there.
After you, it's you find out it's really become a small world now. You make connections with people on YouTube, and you find out, hey, I was there, and it's really that's the fun part of YouTube is making YouTube friends.
Well, our one gal is in Ireland, and we just love her, and I'm ready to go. I've been to Ireland once, and I'd be ready to go back.
But she didn't kiss the Blarney Stone. She chickened out. She chickened out.
Right. I chickened out. I wasn't going to kiss that Blarney Stone and somebody let go of my feet and I go down in that. No, thank you very much, but no, thank you. So maybe if I go back, I'll get courage.
Well, maybe you and I will go back and I'll be there I'll let you go.
Dex, what do you think about my wonderful, hey, everyone that doesn't, for those that don't know us, oh, there she is. Ann and I are real sisters. We are really sisters. And I just want to say, and we are grandmothers. And how many grandchildren do you have, Ann?
At last count, I think it was 14.
She has 14 grandchildren. I have 2. And I'm blessed to have. I'm blessed. I have 2.
Oh, what a wonderful nice family.
Yeah. Well, so I have 3 kids and my husband has 4, so a great big blended family. So it's great.
And they all love one another.
Yes, we all get along. Everybody gets along, and yes, it's wonderful. We have a very full life with kids. I said you have to like kids if you're going to hang out with us because we have a lot of them. So, and Lynn has her little family.
I have
and we
2.
All, you have 2. Yes.
Well, I have no grandkids yet. I'm not there. My kids are just they're just in the college age right now. So we're no weddings yet or anything like that, but they're in relationships. So we'll see.
Well, I think that I think Ann's is going to expand in the next year or 2. I mean, they're going to have another population explosion with all these young ones being engaged.
Could be. We'll see what happens. But anyhow, yes. So, but anyhow, before we let you go, I'm going to play a trailer for the next Ann Lynn Show that's coming up next. Yes, It's going to be next Wednesday. And we have another great fella that's going to come on and be with us. Stay right tuned. Here we go.
Coming to the next live Ann Lynn Show, coming on Wednesday, January the 20th at 10 a.m. Eastern. Join Ann and Lynn with their special guest, Mr. Vlad Groots. He's all about news, alerts, preparedness. And if you want to learn how to set up your own solar system, check out Vlad's YouTube channel. But be here on Wednesday, January 20th at 10 a.m. for an all-new live The Ann Lynn Show. See you soon.
So, make plans Vlad now to be with us. Yeah, with Vlad. And maybe his wife.
One more. I know, Orange Kitty. One more. Bone said, we got to hear Dex play a guitar. So Dex, do you want to play us out in a minute?
No, I got to get a guitar. They're over there.
I know. That's from Bone. He loves you.
Bones, I'll play later. You know, one of the questions you had for me was about hobbies, and that's one of my hobbies, playing guitars. But it's also, I have to tell you, I'm an ADD hobbyist, in the sense that I go from one hobby to the next, and I come back to them in circles. So, I played guitar as a young kid. I've got a guitar collection, but I haven't played in the last 3 or 4 years at all. I took a break from it, and I just said, I'm not playing. And then, I also have hobbies like working on cars. I've got I got 2 car projects. I got one that my wife can't stand because it's still sitting there and I haven't done anything with it. And I come and go and I phase in and out. Everybody makes fun of me because I'll get a hobby like, oh, well, look at him now. Dex is doing this, and he'll do it for about a year, and then he'll be done with it. And so it's fun for me because I like to learn different things. Like I got a Camaro at one time, and I spent a whole bunch of time, doing all the work on it, the ins and outs, rebuilding stuff. It was fun. It was a learning experience. But it's not like my everyday thing. I don't go spend 20 hours a day in the garage. But I did for a little while just to do it. And I did spend a lot of time playing guitars. I do have a guitar collection. And I promise you at some point I'll come back around when I have time and I'm just bored and I want to just get into something and I'll get into it. I usually do that with different hobbies. I'll just go all in and focus in on it for a little bit. So.
Well, Dex, let me ask you this. Will you come back and play your guitar for us?
Yes.
Okay, we will. You get it out and play some songs. And,
I don't even know if it's tuned. I'd have to go check it.
Okay. Well,
look, just to make Bones happy, I'll strum something real quick. But hang on.
Okay. Wonderful.
I gotta take the headphones off, so.
Special request.
Can you hear that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
You can see, or you can see
Yep.
you, or
You're good to go.
is that good enough? Does that make you happy?
Ah,
Hey, that was awesome. That's awesome. Thank you so very, very much.
Absolutely.
Well, Dex,
well,
we love you. We love you. Give
Well,
you
thank you for
granny.
having me on. Grannies are the best, and I hope everybody comes to your channel. I hope everybody comes and watches your interviews with everyone. You got Vlad next week. We're going to try and get you some other folks on too.
Yes.
Can we
You know, I'm getting Adam on here. He's coming.
Woo!
yeah, everyone.
So everybody stay tuned. I'll let the ladies announce when it happens. But we're getting that set up too. So, but much love and thank you so much for having me on.
Oh,
You guys are wonderful.
thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so
Dex.
much.
And
And we
one
want to
more
give
time.
you official
kisses.
granny kisses. Official
Okay.
now. Okay.
Are you ready? All right.
Mwah, mwah,
Mwah.
mwah. Woo!
Okay. Goodbye,
Bye.
Dex. We love you.
Bye,
We'll see
Dex.
you.
Love
Bye.
you. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Love you
Keep
too. All right.
Oh, that was so great.
Oh,
That was so
isn't that
great.
wonderful?
And we
Yes.
want to say thank you to our moderators. Thank you so very much for
Oh,
helping us
thank
out today
you.
and being here in the chat. We want to thank everybody that participated in chat today and we're here today. And
Yeah.
welcome to our new subscribers. Please stick around and hang in there. Next, we forgot to announce something too. There might be an all new live on Friday with
There is
another.
going to be a new. Let me
Yeah?
check my schedule. Let me check our schedule here.
Okay.
Oh yes, it's called. Hold on. I want everybody out there that's make sure you wear your hat on Friday at 10 a.m. It is National Hat Day here at the Ann Lynn Show, and special guest, Ann's special
Oh, my.
guest. She's a hat wearer. She likes her hat. She's going to model several hats, and that is our very own Memo will be here. Memo.
Yes. If
So,
you've never met our Mama, this is your
you
chance
need
to meet
to.
Mama. Yes.
Right. I think Memo is going to get a permanent this week and get her hair done. I think we're finally going to let her out to as long as she, does everything correct. We're going to let her get out. She's tired of that straight white hair. She's ready to go back to what she's comfortable with. A little bit of lots of curls.
Lots of girls. Well, anyhow, we'll be back on Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern. And then don't forget our special guest next Wednesday on the 20th will be Mr. Vlad Groot.
That's
So,
right. Yes.
Yeah, Mr. Vlad Groots. And if you've never been over to Vlad's channel, this is your chance to meet him. He's a wonderful guy. A family man, has a wonderful wife, Orange Kitty. And so anyhow, be here. And we love you. Thank you so very much. And we're going to say, yes, goodbye.
Bye.
See you. Come back on Friday.